Hello guys, this is Eric from Dane Photography with another frequency separation tutorial. So let's get straight into it. We're going to select the background layer, create 2 copies. We're going to label this high and we're going to double click here and label this low. Select both layers by holding shift, drag it down here to create a group. We're going to label it FS, which is short form for frequency separation. We're going to deactivate the high layer, go to the low layer and right click and convert as a smart object. Next, we're going to go to filter, noise, median. So here, what we're going to do is we're going to pull this radius up until we see where the skin is losing its texture. Let's say about 12 is going to work for this image. It depends on the image you have. We click on OK, then we're going to activate the high layer, go to image, apply image, and we're going to select the low layer. Blending mode, we're going to use subtract. So the scale is 2, the offset is 128, and this works for 8-bit images. Click on OK. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the the high layer, and we're going to create a copy of this high layer by pressing Command A on Mac and Control J, which is Command J on Mac. So I'm going to come in between the 2 layers, hold down Option on Mac, I think it's Alt on Windows, and click like this. Then we're going to come to this layer, the high layer. We're going to change the blending mode to linear light. Then we're going to come to the low layer, Command A, Control A on Windows, Command J, Control J on Windows. Then we're going to come in between these 2 layers and we're going to click to create a clipping mask. From here, I'm going to go and use the lasso tool, which is right here. And we're going to come to the feathering and select 20 as the feather. So what we're going to do next is on the low layer, which is this copy, because we don't want to work on the direct layer itself. We're going to come to the low layer copy. We're going to select a portion of the image. Come over to filter, noise, median. I'm going to use the value 50 for this image. And as you can see, that it smoothens the skin, but it leaves the texture. So I'm going to increase this value to 60. So depending on the image you're editing, it will differ. Click on OK, then we're going to click here. So every time I click, it deactivates the selection. Then I'm going to select this other portion of the image, and we're going to do the same thing. Filter, noise, median, and the value is 60. You see preview, on, off. We click on OK. Control D, Command D to deactivate. That's another short key. Then we're going to select this portion. You don't have to be too careful. Then we go to filter, noise, median, and the value is 60. See before, after. Click on OK, deactivate. We're going to come down to this area and I'm going to select like so. Go to filter, noise, median. Do the same thing. Deselect. Then I'm going to select this part of the image go to filter, noise, median, and you can see how it blends the transition between the shadows and the highlights. It took away the highlights, not all of it, but I'm going to put it back. I'm going to show you how that is done. We're going to deselect. We're going to come to this area. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to select maybe this part of the image. Go to filter, noise, median. And as you can see, it smooths the transition between the shadows and the highlights. And we're going to select this part of the image. And we're going to do the same. Filter, noise, median. So let's check out the before and the after. This is the before and the after. You can see how much better the picture looks like now. And we are still maintaining a level of texture. So we're going to go to the high layer and take away some of the imperfections. So I'm going to use the stamp tool, the clone stamp tool, which is here, S on the keyboard. We're going to select maybe an area around here and take it up. Make sure that your sample is current layer. Your flow is 20. I think let's go up to 30. I'm going to come over here. So sometimes some people like to take away every imperfection on their images, but as for this one, I don't want it to take so much time. And sometimes it's good to allow the imperfections because it keeps the pictures looking original or untouched. So I'm going to speed this up and then we're going to continue. We're going to continue with dodging and burning. Okay, so let's check out the before and the after. We see a huge improvement, and we still have skin texture. I'm going to go down to create a dodge and burn. I have actions here, but it's pretty straightforward. We're going to go here, we're going to go to the curves, we're going to create it twice. And what dodging and burning does is that dodging adds the highlights back to the image, and then burning makes the shadows deeper. So we're going to call this dodge, and we're going to call this burn. So for the dodge layer, we're going to come to, we're going to bring it up. Let's select this. This is fine. And for the burn layer, we're going to bring the exposure down like this. We're going to press Command I, Control I on Windows to invert, so we can hide and mask this later. So we're going to call this dodge and burn. So we're going to come to the dodge layer, deactivate the frequency separation, so we can see the highlights that we're taking out. Then later we're going to go to select the brush. So since I'm using a tablet, I'm going to check the settings on and put the flow to 75. If you're using a mouse, you have to uncheck this and have the flow to 5, and then you vary as you go. So I'm going to come and I'm going to make sure that white is in front, because that's what's going to show what we are doing. Then I'm just going to brush just a little bit to see, to bring in some of the highlights back, and maybe around here a little bit, around here a little bit. I'm also going to dodge here, here, maybe here too. And I'm gonna bring this highlight back. And a little bit here. And here as well. Then we're gonna come to the burn layer, increase the brush size, bring that in. Maybe I'm gonna change my flow to, let's say, 50. It's a little bit too hard. I'm gonna burn here, 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 here as well. The nose area, here as well. Under the lip, here as well. I think this is okay for now. So let me show you what we've been able to achieve. So if I activate the frequency separation layer, we check the dodge and burn layer before and after, you see that it brings back the shadows and highlights that we lost. I think the highlight is a little bit too strong, so I'm going to come back here, select the brush tool. I'm going to invert the layers and I'm going to reduce some of this highlight here. It's a little bit too strong. It's kind of distracting. All right, let's check. That looks way much better. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I look forward to creating more. See you on the next tutorial.